Hello, everybody, and welcome to Calling the Game, an opportunity for a sports writer and a scientist to get together in his now semi-clean lab and talk about all things sporting good. I'm Chris Lynch.
I'm Thomas Villalone Jr.
Two things. One, it's very nice that there is actual desk space. It's very good that there is desk space.
We're working on it, man. We're working on it.
Yeah. I know I can't say much considering how cluttered my space is. But it's also very nice that the sports world continues to give us interesting things to talk about.
More specifically, everything.
Everything. No boxing this time, but, minor details.
Oh, the FBI, three little letters.
We'll get there. We have got plenty to talk about with college hoops,
All right.
NBA signings, Major League Baseball, and maybe a few football just predictions. Mostly just us ripping on the Cleveland Browns because they're terrible.
Seriously, guys.
Why are you so bad? You had a chance to beat the Colts, and you didn't beat the dang Colts.
More on that later. In any event.
Let's get started with that's the most in terms of the leagues and the way that things are shaping up right now. That's the most.
So it's the most pressing currently.
Yeah.
So
most of the teams are already sewn up. Oh, actually, no. All of the teams are locked in except for one spot.
The second NL wild card.
Most of the teams that we know who are going to be in the playoffs have been determined. The East is the only American League East is the only division that isn't yet sewn up. The Red Sox had a chance to close it down last night, except they failed. The Yankees lost, and if the Red Sox had won last night, they would have won the division outright. Instead, they lost 12-2 to Houston. Eddie Rodriguez only pitched 1 2/3 innings as the starting pitcher. It was truly terrible.
Houston's got a squad. You have to acknowledge that.
When did I ever not acknowledge that?
A year ago.
What? They missed the playoffs last year.
That was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, they were in the playoffs. Yeah, they had a huge downswing because their pitching wasn't as good last year. Now their pitching is actually back to being awake. So.
Well, it's at the top of the game. They are atop, just short of Cleveland, the AL. So.
Oh yeah, and after adding Verlander, it's an even more deadly squad.
Yeah.
So, I thought before the season, I thought fairly early on, like after the first month of the season, I thought Houston was going to end up winning the World Series this year.
Well, that's
certainly possible.
That's still not a bad prediction, all things considered.
I mean, Cleveland is looking like the favorites coming out of the AL right now, but still.
When you have God mode, Andrew Miller on the mound.
He was injured for a lot of the season is the interesting thing. So he's only just now getting back to really being Miller. And I did a lot of that winning without him.
A return to form late in the season. At the end of the day,
God mode Miller is back.
I'll just take it for what it's worth.
Oh yeah, God mode Miller is back, and they should be very happy about that.
I mean, they already broke the 100 win mark.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. 100 even, second most in baseball behind the Dodgers at 102, who have cooled off dramatically.
Yeah. So the two teams that have high numbers, it probably cooled off a little bit, momentum wise. Anyone in particular stand out to you momentum-wise? Because right now, let's be real here. Everything is pretty much clinched. Houston's got the AL. Cleveland's got the Central. Minnesota's got that wild card. And now all that's left is Boston going to be atop the AL East or the Yankees going to be atop the AL East?
Well, unless we collapse spectacularly, which is possible, seeing as how this is post-2004, but it is still the Red Sox.
You've got a 2.5 game lead. Just do your job.
Just win one game against Houston. Just win the game tonight, and the division is ours. And again, I was there last night. I feel the pain still. I still feel every ounce of that pain.
Let it be known, Chris Lynch is no longer allowed at Fenway Park for reasons of team morale.
Yeah. We don't talk about that. In any event,
NL East, Washington, my congratulations to you. You are now officially the running riot of the NL East.
The only thing that's good, other than Giancarlo Stanton, in that entire division, and Stanton is gonna hit for 60 home runs.
Yeah.
59 so far. He's got a few more games. He'll get
He'll
one.
get number 60.
Oh yeah.
In the Central, the Cubs. You've come back.
You stumbled dramatically out of the gate. I've never seen a team struggle the way that you guys did. It was amazing just how bad you guys fell out.
You're back. Do your job.
Don't mess this up, guys. Don't become the New York Rangers. You know what I mean. They broke their curse of not winning in 50 years in 1994, and they have done nothing since.
Done nothing since.
Don't be the New York Rangers for the sake of your fans.
Let's see. In the West, Dodgers, and Arizona.
Yeah, they were a surprising team this year.
The Diamondbacks did well this year.
I mean, I thought there was a point when the Dodgers were so hot. I thought they could set the record for the most wins in the history of Major League Baseball. And
they were scorching.
At a time, they could have done that, but
things cooled off a little bit.
Just a little bit every now and then. So there's only one spot left open in the National League, and it's the second wild card.
So that's looking to be either Colorado or Milwaukee.
And right now, Colorado has got that spot.
Colorado's got it, but it's only by 2 games, I think.
Yeah.
So personally, I think Colorado's going to get it. Their roster's a little bit more full.
It's more full on the offensive end. Colorado is a no man's land of pitching. And I think I'm being generous when I describe it as such.
That's where the bats come and make up for it.
That can only get you so far is the thing.
I mean, I'm not expecting them to go all the way, but
postseason baseball is about
it's pitching.
It is a pitching game. If you have the best pitching, you will win the World Series. That's the same way.
I mean, we saw that last year.
The Cubs had by and large, the best starting staff, and their bullpen survived a war of attrition. So they pounced their way through. So in all likelihood, this is going to end up being the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. So out of the postseason teams, 3 of them in the National League are going to come from the West.
Yeah.
The Twins and the Yankees will probably play each other in the wild card game, which, by the way, the Yankees are going to win that wild card game.
I would expect them to. With the hitting and pitching that they have, they better.
More so with my friend, Mr. Judge, who is making a very good case for himself to be the Rookie of the Year and the MVP. He's cooled off a lot, but who else would win it?
In the AL?
Yeah.
The fact that I'm having trouble thinking of a good answer is indicative of the state of affairs.
Altuve is the other guy I think of.
Jose Altuve.
He's hitting .351.
If you're looking from a power hitter, maybe Adrian Beltre, but
no, not at all.
You don't think so?
I wouldn't, especially considering how poorly the Rangers have done this year.
Well, that's kind of the flip side of things. Like he was probably the one shining gem in the steaming turd that was the Rangers this year.
Judge has taken his own performance to a level that if he broke the record for most home runs for a rookie, he will win Rookie of the Year this year.
Oh yeah.
That's not a contest.
That's not even close.
Yeah. The only other person I can think of would be Benintendi, and he's nowhere near what Judge did this year. He's 50 home runs and has turned the Yankees from a mediocre squad to a real threat
squad.
They need one other guy to go to help out on that rotation on the starting staff, and their closer in Robertson is very good, and the back end of their bullpen is good as well. But Cleveland still has the best bullpen in the American League.
Oh yeah,
Cleveland should.
Once you get to the 6th inning, you better start saying your prayers.
Cleveland should be the favorites to come out of the American League this year. Anyone want to disagree with me on that? Dodgers the favorite out of the National League, I think.
Do you see our audience? I hear crickets and nothing but them.
Exactly. All right, so I think
NFL,
that's the top. Those are the baseball topics. Let's jump into That was an interesting week of protesting and protestable football in some cases.
It was certainly interesting. We're not going to get political here.
No, we won't.
We hate being political publicly.
On this context.
Privately.
All about that.
You can come and throw peanuts with us. We're
all about that in private.
We will debate until the heat death of the universe. But in any event, though, play this year is just so erratic. I can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah, like the Rams and 49ers were actually entertaining.
Who'd have thought?
Their uniforms were terrible, but
Yeah, we've been over that once or twice.
yeah,
already.
minor details. The Texans almost beat the Patriots.
Yeah, about that.
So my family was up and we gathered in North Andover. I watched most of the game. I had to leave halfway through the fourth, but I'm driving back home to Malden and I listened to the game on the radio and it's getting late. We had the ball with 7 minutes left and we blew the drive and had to punt it. So, but we're done. We get the ball back with 2.5 or so minutes left. And I just think this could be bad. And then I think, oh, wait, we have Tom Brady.
You have Tom Brady.
We are going to be fine. I am unbelievably thrilled that the Eagles beat the Giants. Mostly, I just want the Giants to lose.
I understand why.
Mr. Spanos, you have messed up royally.
I've even heard rumors already that the NFL is looking to move them back to San Diego.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard the same rumors.
You did everything for nothing. Nothing.
They still need to. They do actually need to replace that stadium in San Diego.
They have to. They have to. And again, the NFL now is so cost conscious. More so, some of its owners. It's like, come on, guys, let's be real here. In a surprise, an absolute and total surprise. Let's just go down the list right here.
Yeah, we're just recovering from the
Ravens and Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jaguars completely stomped.
Flacco
was terrible.
Broadside of a barn man.
He threw for fewer yards than the Jaguars scored points.
I could probably actually throw better than you, and I'm a stick at least for this one game. Please, whatever it takes to refocus yourself.
Maybe a halfway decent offensive line that won't leave him out to dry. It's not all his fault. He had no time because he had dudes coming up his armpit.
What happened? Well, your run game's kind of useless without an O-line, I guess. But
yeah, Barry Sanders only could do so much without an offensive line.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no one who could make more out of it, and there's no Barry Sanders on the Ravens squad. But Don't worry, the Jaguars will go back into the basement next week.
The Jaguars, you've had your moment in the sun.
Well done.
If you keep it up, you have my applause. You have it right now. If you go back down, you've had your time. Let life continue.
Minor details.
Steelers, Bears.
Steelers, you play down to your competition. Good job, guys. Well done.
Chicago was rioting. Do I need to explain more?
This was the one time that they actually won something. Let them have their moment of joy. Good job, Bears.
Congratulations. Your quarterback situation is still as unstable as the Trump cabinet.
And you guys lost to the Packers last night. So, good job, guys.
Keep doing what you do.
Don't you wish you had Aaron Rodgers?
Stability, what? Buccaneers, Vikings.
Don't worry, the Vikings will find a way to mess all of this up in the end.
What's the record right now?
Pulling it up right now, but
Vikings
2 and something.
2-1, I think.
Yeah, something like that. They've actually been not that bad so far this year.
Yep, they're 2-1.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad unit right now.
Whatever voodoo is being worked,
to keep
it up. If you have to go back to the Inuits and drag a moose carcass back for the barbecue you need to have to feed the souls of your players, by all means.
Have fun.
Keep going.
Don't worry, though. This is the Vikings. They will find a way to lose this in the end.
We know there's no parity in the NFL to begin with.
We also know that the Vikings just constantly fail. You know it. I know it. The Gengar creeping up behind us knows it. Minor details. The Bucks. Hey, Jameis, you want to stop being careless with the football? Famous Jameis. Stop being a fool with the football, dude.
I am still very much of the mindset that NCAA quarterbacks, especially high round picks, don't translate very well.
Not anymore, anyway.
Well, again, the style of NCAA play and the style of NFL play is so different. Fundamentally, I think at this point that to assume that a number one pick can adjust well, cross-reference the Cleveland Browns, the Bucks, the Raiders, and anyone else who's taken a first-round pick.
Yeah,
I think Vince Young was the only one to actually have some decent success, and that Decent is shaky at best.
He flamed out. He flamed out after not that long. So
exactly.
yeah, minor details. All right, who's up next?
The butt fumble one. Moving on.
The Jets actually won against the Dolphins. All right.
I have nothing to say to that.
Moving on. The Lions.
Falcons Lions. That was actually competitive.
That was, and the Lions got screwed. The Lions got absolutely screwed. Lions, I am so sorry, but I'll take that increased lead in the division a little bit more. The Packers,
it worked.
Greatly appreciate
it. Worked out fairly well. It was competitive. Again, officiation is a very touch field type of thing, and you just got the bad end of it.
The terrible end of it, actually. You know, well done, guys.
If you can keep playing like that, you will break 500.
Also, Falcons, congratulations. You aren't living in a Super Bowl hangover. You have a better record than the Patriots.
You're hungry.
Don't worry, it's the Falcons. They'll fail
Feed
somehow.
the fire. I want to see success.
Don't worry, they will fail. It is the Falcons. It's not quite as bad as the Bungles constantly botching it up, but you know. So prove me wrong, Atlanta. Your quarterback went to Chestnut Hill Community College. Prove me wrong. I mean,
please,
BC.
No, genuinely, prove us wrong. We want success for you. Except him, maybe.
Don't hate Atlanta. Don't really like them either. Just I don't really care.
Seahawks Titans.
No one showed up for the anthem, and the game didn't make any sounds until the offense got going in like the second half. And
the Legion of Boom kind of fell apart at the end.
Seattle is falling on hard times.
Their offense is still pretty good, from what I understand.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. Their defense, though, it's like a sieve in a sense, a very selective sieve. I wish I could explain it better, but it's just there's some plays that sneak by. It's like, what? Seriously?
Yeah, the offense can do things sometimes. Emphasis on sometimes. I guess they decided to make yesterday's game one of those, but the defense fell apart.
Bengals Packers.
Oh, the Bengals thought they could win something. That's cute.
Then Aaron Rodgers' mustache took on the essence of Wilfred Brimley.
And decided to, you know, we're just going to be better than Cincy right now because Cincy, this is all karma for signing Perfect and for drafting Mixon and for keeping Adam Jones around.
You've been redeveloping for 5 years, Cincy. Keep at it.
Good luck, guys. You're not going to succeed, but good luck.
Cowboys Cardinals. Cowboys showed up to play.
That was fun.
Cardinals fought back for a while. It was actually pretty competitive for a bit.
Yeah, and then Dallas is just a better football team. And Arizona is an old man's club, and this is not a league for old men.
I mean, have you seen how deep Jerry Jones's wallet is lately?
Remarkably, actually.
Okay. This next game I want to focus on a little bit. Bills Broncos. Welcome to the no man's land club of football, folks. Bills. You showed life.
You did something.
You beat the Broncos.
I know. They
You had a defense. You had an offense. You had the whole package. I'm enthusiastic about this.
This was only for one game, and you know it.
Shut up and let me be optimistic.
Normally, it's me who's supposed to be the optimist on this show.
And this is where I draw a hard line. The Bills showed promise. I don't know how exactly you retooled your offense to deal with the Broncos defense, and more importantly, in my opinion, how you retooled your defense to deal with the Broncos offense.
Well, here's the thing. Simeon had an unusually hot day last week, and the Cowboys defense is a bit overhyped, I think.
The Cowboys or the Broncos?
Cowboys defense is a bit overhyped. So they made and also the Broncos defense is the Broncos defense is either stout and dominant and you won't do anything against them, or good. And they were good.
They were good. And
you need to be better than good in order to really win in this league.
When the Bills showed that. Keep it up.
Not bad, guys.
Saints Panthers.
You know, the Panthers are overrated, and I've been saying that for a while now.
Cam Newton, I respect you. You're good with the ball, but you need more around you.
Yeah, like a halfway competent offensive line, maybe. Oh, and Kelvin Benjamin is out for a little bit. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's kind of it for you.
I'm sorry, guys.
I cannot see how these teams will cope properly. Your team is thin. If you lose a big player, they're paper.
Yeah. The only team that doesn't really apply to is the Patriots.
Patriots, arguably, possibly the Raiders.
What if Derek Carr goes down?
Well, like I said, arguably, possibly.
Depends on the individual player that
I
goes
would just
down.
wait. If Tom Brady went down, you wouldn't be saying that. Belichick's good, but you need Brady at the helm.
To win Super Bowls, yeah. To get into the playoffs,
you'll be fine.
Yeah, we can do fine getting there, but it is a much bigger slugfest to try and get in without Brady. But let's just get that game out of the way. That was a great game, and we won. Actually, no, we already talked about it.
We talked about it again. The Texans.
Deshaun Watson is a real quarterback.
Good.
Watson is a real quarterback. I've thought that for a while about him.
You jettisoned Osweiler and actually found potential. Keep him safe. Don't let him become a repeat of Derek Carr.
You traded
David Carr.
Yeah, you traded up to get a real quarterback, and Watson is a real quarterback.
That's all we got to say, I think.
Good job, guys. Colts, Browns, Brownies, Browns, guys. He's just gonna keep hitting his head until he's trying to process the pain and horror and misery of being a Cleveland Browns fan.
This is probably the one game this year Cleveland
could have won
that the Vegas bookies had you winning.
Oh, Cleveland.
To fans of the dog pound,
I am so sorry.
You have my eternal sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
But also
why
my praise.
Why would you do this?
You root for the one team that is guaranteed to find new ways to destroy themselves.
Oh, you want to know who they're playing this week?
Go.
The 0-3 Cincinnati Bengals. They will find some way to ruin all of this.
What are the odds on this game?
Trying to find a line. Cincy is favored by 3 points.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Oh, and this game is in Cleveland, by the way. You're having fun. What are you
Give me my helmet. Let me get my helmet.
Okay. Why are you getting your helmets? Okay, you can just stand and get your helmet. Or why are we getting the helmet out right now?
Some fans wear paper bags on their heads that say we suck on them. Cleveland, for you, you've now earned yourself the Browns helmet.
Is that just our consistent thing? This is going to be our Cleveland Browns helmet?
Every week you lose, I will start the podcast wearing that helmet until you win. Cleveland, show life. Please
just win
show
something.
Life.
Win something. So I'm going to read off their next 2 opponents. So they got the Bengals this week, and then next week, the Jets.
You are being presented with the golden platter of opportunity. You've got the Bengals and the butt fumble.
And then afterwards, they've got the Texans and the Titans.
Sadly, they're at 500, so I don't see them winning those.
Oh, almost certainly not. Oh, and would you believe that they have to host the Green Bay Packers later on this year? And they end their season in Pittsburgh. Hey, at least they get a road trip to Chicago. They have some teams that they can
win a game.
So the teams they could be, well, they host Jacksonville, which we're just trying to find a way for Cleveland to win.
If you do not win a game this season, which somewhere in my heart of hearts, there's this rebel voice yelling, they won't. You will achieve perfection in the most spectacular failure possibly in the NFL history.
Not since 2008 has a team failed this bad.
So the reason why I can justify that, Detroit actually faced good teams. to a lesser greater extent. Cleveland, you are being presented with the seller of the NFL.
So,
Please win one.
so Cleveland, you get to face the Jets, Texans, which is a competent team, the Titans, which is a very competent team, the Vikings,
Competent enough.
yeah, the Lions,
Competent enough.
the Jaguars,
Possible victory en route.
the Bengals twice because they're in the same division.
Please win.
The Chargers in LA. It still sounds wrong to say that, by the way. I don't know what
you won that game in Week 16 last year.
You could do it again.
If you can do it, I will laud you for cursing Spanos.
Please curse Dean Spanos. Please.
This is what I want from you, Cleveland. You will, and I'm addressing you. Please defeat the Chargers. Make Spanos regret his decision to mess with the Chargers.
Every football fan in the world.
San Diego will love you. I will be ecstatic.
We'll bake you brownies or something. We'll bake victory brownies, as it were. They also get to face, after the Chargers, they get to host the Green Bay Packers. Okay, they will almost certainly lose.
Imminent death.
They get to host the Baltimore Ravens.
Imminent death. Unless Joe Flacco and the Ravens die like they did this week.
They get to. That's their last home game of the year. So their last two home games are against the Packers and the Ravens. They then get to travel to Chicago. And then they end the season in Pittsburgh. God help you.
Okay, well,
I hope they could win one of these games. Speaking of the Chargers and the team that we detest so much, or the owner that we detest so much, because we don't hate the Chargers team.
No, we hate Spanos.
Everyone should hate Spanos. This dude is a terrible owner who has completely screwed San Diego.
There are only 3 owners in American professional sports. International, that's a whole other ballgame.
Mm-hmm.
But in American professional sports, there are 3 owners, which I think we can say to a lesser or greater extent we hold vile contempt for.
Jeffrey Loria. Well, he's no longer an owner.
Okay, yeah, so 2 now.
2. All right, so number 1?
Spanos.
And number 2?
The owner of the Kings.
Oh, Vivek Ranadive.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Stan Kroenke's kind of an asshole too. Pardon my French, but owner of the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, Kroenke wanted to expand his ranch out in Texas.
I recall that, but at least I'm looking from the perspective of the team, because when the team moved to LA, it was kind of the writing was on the wall, whereas the Kings is a perpetual dumpster fire.
I am so sorry, guys, but you truly are terrible.
The Brooklyn Nets I can at least laugh at because
they're so bad.
That's incompetence.
I know, and it's so glorious.
The Kings just seem like glad handing to the owner. Who do you hire? Vlade Divac. You know what?
Sure,
great player, not so great GM, and he's a yes man to the owner.
Yeah, pretty much that. Just come on, guys. Though the Kings might actually be somewhat entertaining this year because now they have a direction. Time for tanking.
The cellar.
Time to tank.
Have you considered a possible career in failure?
I mean, no, I don't live in Cleveland.
They have
At least it's not Detroit.
I refer that almost exclusively to the Browns. The Indians I respect.
Because they're actually
the Cavaliers
good.
I respect as well.
I mean, don't worry. LeBron is going to leave after this year. And then we will soon, and then Cleveland will.
And then Dwayne Wade will follow him to LA.
No, I think Wade is just going to retire after this year. Well, he's got 1 or 2 more years left, and that's only because his style of play has required his knees to get beaten up.
Yeah, that's true.
So, any event. Only other game from last week that is worth mentioning or that we haven't mentioned.
Giants-Eagles.
Well, that one in which the Giants, you have no running game or no offensive line and barely a team. And Carson Wentz is a real quarterback.
Eli Manning is now officially the patron saint of all tackle dummies.
Sorry, dude. I'm not, though. You stole 2 Super Bowls from my boy Brady.
He doesn't care. You know what? I'm okay with you, Eli. You keep doing what you do, except being a tackle dummy.
Oh, and by the way, how'd Oakland do?
They lost to the Redskins.
Dude, you done goofed. All right, so we've already had one game that was decided this week.
Yeah, and that was Packers-Bears.
Shocking.
Surprise to no one.
I mean, I'm fine with us winning.
Oh, yeah. Plus, Aaron Rodgers is killing that mustache.
That is a great mustache. All right, so are there any games on the slate here that look interesting from any bit of perspective? Oh, the Jaguars are playing the Jets.
So there are two games that appeal to me because of how awful they're potentially going to be.
The Jaguars and Jets?
And?
Oh, no. The Bengals and the Browns.
It's the battle of the crap stains.
It's got to be terrible. Must-watch football. I don't know. Well,
when your yardage total combined as two teams is going to be less than that of another team single-handedly in another game.
Was there actually a football game played here today? No. No, there wasn't. So those are the Eagles will.
In terms of good games, the Titans and Texans appeal to me.
Yeah, that one's interesting. Broncos and Raiders is actually very interesting.
Yeah, it looks good.
And the Redskins and the Chiefs is also very interesting.
Bills and Falcons.
That one should be well.
That one.
It's in Atlanta. Buffalo doesn't really travel that well. Atlanta's at home, so I think Matty Ice will beat them up. Tampa gets to host the Giants. We know what's going to happen there. The Colts, guys, you won your one game and you beat the Browns. You're going to lose everyone else. And I love Jacoby Brissett. You're going to lose. You're going to lose to the Legion of Boom. Panthers.
What's left of it?
Yeah. Panthers. Have fun in Foxborough. You're not beating the Patriots.
Although if you do, there's a special brownie. There's a special brownie box that we can give you. From me at least.
He can give you. As you can tell, I would be very bitter. Yeah. I see your hand. It's floating right in front of my face. Or was. All right. Also, Rams, have fun trying to beat the Cowboys. You're not going to succeed, though. Just saying, you're not going to succeed.
We'll see.
Yeah, minor details.
NBA.
All right. So, two major transactions that went down between this podcast and last.
The Master of Zen no longer has control over New York. As a result, the great Melo has decided to depart to clearer waters.
To literally anywhere else. And apparently that anywhere else is Oklahoma City.
Russell Westbrook got a contract extension as well. So you know what? OKC, you found stability. You've done it.
OKC signed the exact terms. Westbrook signed a 5-year contract extension worth $205 million. That's absurd money. Cheddar. That's absurd money right there.
$41 million a year.
Oh, yeah. It's comedically absurd money.
And you know what, though? It's the price of stability.
Yeah. And, you know, the dude earned it. The dude deserved it.
After last season?
Oh, he destroyed it last year. It was glorious.
And now that you've got Paul George and Melo, I mean, I don't know exactly.
And Steven Adams.
I don't know exactly how you're going to put those in the starting five, but I have faith in you, OKC.
I mean, Russell's the point guard. I think
they put Melo at 2?
No. I think Melo is going to have to move to the 4. If you watch him with Team USA, then he can get boards and he can do other things. But in New York, where there was literally no talent, he
was 3 through 5.
Yeah, so he had to do everything for that team in New York. And
now you have a 5.
Yeah, you have a real 5 in Steven Adams. Shame that Enes Kanter is no longer there, but you know, oh well.
You'll fill the slots out
pretty easily, I think.
And then additionally,
Dwayne Wade is going out to Cleveland to hang with his boy LeBron.
It's the last shot.
Cleveland is, on paper, a great team.
It's assuming health stays constant.
I just don't trust Dwayne Wade being able to stay healthy. For his personal sake, I want him to.
If he comes off the bench, he'll be fine.
Yeah. I think they're going to have to do that. I mean, well, Isaiah isn't going to start until at least January. That hip injury was a lot worse than what we thought it was.
Well, if that's the case, then I would at least start Wade. for a little bit, and
Yeah.
then maybe throw in Shumpert every now and then, just to keep the mix fresh.
Yep.
That and Adam Silver gave out new policies today on how to rest players.
Oh, that's right. I didn't get to take a look at those.
There is there is a coach whose name rhymes with Rokovich who will be particularly irritated and find new and creative ways to tell the NBA front office to go to hell, basically.
I wonder who this Rokovich is exactly.
Sounds like an interesting fellow.
Yeah, I know. Sounds like a creative character. They also switched around the odds of the draft lottery to help discourage tanking. What do you think of that?
Is the process still in effect?
I mean, Philly is so far deep into the process that they have no way out of it now.
The process is now officially only begun to get underway.
Here's a story from USA Today. So apparently, and I'm just pulling up a few things. So among other situations, Silver will monitor, according to the NBA, absent unusual circumstances, a team should not rest multiple healthy players for the same game or rest healthy players when playing on the road.
When playing on the road or playing on major games as well.
In situations when team decides to rest healthy players, the players should be visible and able to interact with the fans.
I mean, that's the big thing for the NBA right now. The NBA needs to have a forward-looking image.
Back-to-back games have been reduced to 14.4 per team, down from 16.3 last year, and 11.7% reduction. The NBA protected 20 marquee games on TV in which participating teams will not be involved in a back-to-back or 5 games in 7 night scenarios.
Well, I mean, it's smart enough to give the players an opportunity to rest before major games, because you don't want the entire team just to be gassing it down the court and only to come back the other way and just panting out of breath.
And no team will have traveled more than 3,500 miles in the 7 days before the game. The report in August is that there would be punishment for resting players, and now we know what that punishment is.
$100,000 per violation, I think is what I read.
Yep, which is reasonably substantial.
It's less than what David Stern would charge.
Stern was.
I remember you, Mr. Stern. Don't you worry.
We all remember Mr. Stern. He was he was interesting. We got on with him pretty decently, I guess. Kind of.
Y'all did. I didn't. The Spurs didn't.
I mean, you lived outside of the rules, I guess.
We have Popovich.
I know you lived outside.
He operates in his own stratosphere. And we just say, yes, you are intelligent, because we can't understand what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah, minor details. In any event, so.
And now, let's talk about
that thing. Yep. You know the one. College hoops.
Not just college hoops, but potentially the NCAA as a whole.
Yeah. So let me lay down for my own context. I'm from West Hartford, Connecticut, and I grew up a fan of UConn. I, for a long while, used to be a huge college basketball fan. Namely, I think the best college basketball that has ever been played is the Big East. I think that that conference with Seton Hall and Providence and Georgetown and UConn and Syracuse, Villanova, St. John's, featuring players like Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, Pearl Washington, Ed Pinckney, those Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe Mutombo, all at different points. Kemba Walker. It was the best college basketball conference ever. I fell out of it after the Big East fell apart.
And now it's a smoldering pile of ash.
Most of this, so this all came out on Tuesday, I think, is when all of this stuff broke.
So let me give you my perspective. I have never been a fan of NCAA.
Okay.
Particularly for the reason that I've known since I was very young.
Which is?
Probably about 10 or so. It's rigged. There's bribery. There's pushing. There's bagmen. There's a lot of behind the scenes involved. I've been hearing rumors about this probably for the past couple of years, and this is the first time that it's been brought to the front light. Why? Because the feds got involved.
They probably had you mentioned to me before we got started on this.
Yeah.
They probably had some sort of time sensitive evidence that needed to be acted upon.
Yeah.
At least that's what you think.
That's what I think. Otherwise, they would have let this sit for probably a little bit longer. Let the web grow larger.
So let me just read through some details of it. 4 assistant coaches and 6 others connected to grassroots basketball were arrested on bribery and fraud charges in a pay-for-play scheme that involved players being pushed towards agents, financial advisors, and sneaker companies.
Yep. I think Adidas is officially pinned, and I think Nike is on its way.
Yeah. Let's see. So one D1 head coach commented, "Without a doubt, it's going to dramatically change recruiting, and this is a game changer in college basketball. It's not just recruiting, not just college basketball.
The NCAA structure as a whole, because now it'll be under scrutiny.
College football is next.
Well, it's already being attacked.
Yeah.
I think so. 5 major programs were implicated, with more in the quote-unquote asterisk section:
Arizona, Oklahoma State, Auburn, USC, and Louisville. Yep. Louisville fired Rick Pitino. Louisville just fired their head coach, and they
fired their head coach and someone else who's really
the athletic director.
There you go.
And assistants from Arizona, Oklahoma State, Auburn, and USC were all arrested. So was Adidas Director of Global Marketing, James Gatto, charged in one instance with paying an athlete's family $100,000 so the player would attend a school sponsored by Adidas. Louisville and Miami, the U, both sponsored by Adidas, were also implicated. It is alleged that coaches accepted bribes ranging from $13,000 to almost $100,000 to direct athletes to business managers, agents, sneaker companies, and financial advisors. So it needs to be noted there, this isn't just directing players to go to a certain school. This is directing players to be involved with companies, to be involved with.
Now, this begs another question, though, and that question in particular is: should the NCAA be changing its policies? Because the student athlete, as we know it, has been dead since the 80s. Come on, folks, wake up.
Yeah.
And if you are going to a college for a one and done, as most of these guys probably are, why even bother going? It's because the NBA says you have to. Fine. Okay. But to the colleges and the NCAA, you're a money-making racket. Let's be real here. You're skimming money somewhere off the top of this. Okay. It is not fair for those players to have to jump through hoops, and more importantly, all of this backdoor shenaniganing to happen. Fix your stuff. Make it so that the players can, the pretense of going to university is a joke to me. Either you're going or you're not. You're wasting tax dollars for someone. Okay.
Basically wasting talented athletes to play basketball.
You're wasting public funds. And that just doesn't go for the NCAA basketball. It goes for all sports as a whole.
The two that really are the most damning in this are basketball and football.
Basketball and football. They're going to hurt.
Hockey is going to be fine, but that's only because there's 60 Division I schools that do college hockey.
Not to mention the fact that, no offense, there ain't as much money going into them.
Oh, trust me, I know. Hockey has never been that big a sport here in the States, especially on the collegiate level.
Exactly. So as a result of that, how do you translate this transparency that the NCAA claims into something that's actually usable for not just the students, but also for the schools affiliated? Because let's be quite frank, Louisville, Kentucky has basketball, and that's it.
Yeah.
That program ain't going down because Louisville needs it. So you know what? Make it fair for everyone.
The Crimson Tide of Alabama is pretty much the only thing that Tuscaloosa has as well.
Yeah. And that may be going down the crapper.
I mean, not because Saban is a bad coach or Saban, there's nothing dirty I can pin to Saban in the way that he's managed his program. So, at least nothing that I know about.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know anything.
What we can say at the moment, Pitino, at least Rick Pitino, knew of this.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the understanding.
Do you remember about the escort thing and the prostitution thing that took place on campus?
Yep.
Pitino had to have known about that.
Yeah, come on. And at the end of the day, when people's lives and well-being are involved in this, NCAA, you got coaches who make $1 million, $500,000 a pop.
At least.
That's one person. I pay them however you want to, but for the people who are lower down in the food chain, how is this fair to them? Not to mention the people in charge of it themselves who write these rules in the first place and attempt to enforce them, because we know they're not enforced strictly. You kidding me?
Strictly, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a mess. You're now caught red-handed with your hand in the cookie jar, or in this case, the bear trap with a wad of cash on top of it.
And it's going to get a lot worse.
It's going to get worse.
There's more schools that are going to be implemented in this probably. There's more people who are going to lose their jobs. There's more people who are there's so many more people who are going to
well, not just the implications, but the loss of credibility.
Yeah.
Loss of money.
Lots of money has got to be gone from you guys.
It'll return. That I'm sure of.
Not for a long while, though.
Oh, come on. There's too much money involved in these sports.
College hoops, this isn't the first time that college hoops has had this kind of scandal.
Oh, no, not at all.
The sport was plagued by point-shaving scandals in the 50s that almost completely cost it any sort of credibility it really should have.
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, the money that's being funneled into this is so high that companies will make an effort to find a way to circumvent the rules. So you know what? If they're going to do that anyway, NCAA, be transparent, own up to it, fix your structure.
I doubt they will, though.
I doubt they will too, but not that credibility really matters at this point because it's already shot to the wind. But come on, save face a little. Be at least honest and hold yourself to the standard you hold your players to. The Tar Heel scandal comes to mind, but then again, so does every other scandal associated with that stuff.
Yeah. College hoops, you used to be such fun, and now you're just depressing.
Well, because it's nothing more than just an economic machine.
You know, you could watch college hockey instead. Fun and entertaining sport, more competitive. There's actual parity in the sport. And, you know,
they still beat the crap out of each other.
I know, it's great. Join me in the college hockey season starts this weekend. First game between Boston University and Union College at Agganis Arena.
Can you lift your leg? Can you lift your leg for a second?
If you will notice this, as I write for Hockey Magazine, and I went to media day the other day, so I've got a stack full of materials. You can hold the stuff. Let me get so you can hold the stuff.
This is some light reading for the weekend, folks.
It's great. You
better believe this is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. This is 11 schools worth of material that I've got here, and press releases from Hockey East. So this is actually a good time.
At the end of the day, NCAA, we just ask you to fix stuff.
Yeah, please do
as much as you can. Yes, there will always be some backdoor deals. We acknowledge that.
Welcome to anything that involves politicking.
Or
literally
money.
Anything.
Or money. Large quantities of money.
Or both.
But make it so that the players don't suffer, make it so that your constituents don't suffer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Got a phone call to gotta take.
I do have one okay. Are you taking it in? He's taking it in the middle of the podcast.
Yes.
We'll edit this out in post. Nope. And while he hops up, I'll read through. There is one bit of really good news that came through the grapevine, which is that this is not involved in any of the college hoop stuff or any of that other stuff. But the other bit of good news to come through the wire, or thing that came through, is that Major League Baseball is changing the name of the World Series MVP trophy. So it's going to be the Willie Mays MVP trophy. So they did a good job in acknowledging the great Willie Mays, who I think is the second greatest player of all time. they've been dishing this. They've been issuing the award for most valuable player in the World Series since the 50s, I think, the exact dates. But they've had this award for a while, and I think it's a very worthwhile thing. And I'm just happy to see that there's something positive. College football and college basketball are the two sports most affected by any form of corruption, and it's not a contest. Every other sport is decent at least. Baseball isn't a corrupt thing, and nor is college hockey. But the major sports, those are the final ones, and this hasn't seeped in on the women's side of things, thankfully, because we haven't been doing women's sports as long, and it hasn't built up as financially profitable a status, except in places like UConn or Tennessee for women's basketball. That's about it, really. So I, at the very least, can be happy about the way things have gone. So only a few assistant coaches have had this. So they've been awarding this since 1955 was the first time that the World Series MVP was announced. Van Zobrist is the reigning World Series MVP from the 2016 World Series. The first guy to ever win it was Johnny Padres, this starting pitcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers. 2 starts, both were complete games. He pitched 18 innings, struck out 10, and only allowed 2 earned runs. And one of those games was a complete game shutout. I'm trying to see if anyone has won this multiple times. Yes. So Bob Gibson won it twice in 64 and 7. Sandy Koufax won it in 63 and 5. I'll just keep scrolling to see if anyone else has won it multiple times, but I don't think anyone else has won it multiple times. No, there's only one time when it's been co-MVPs. That was 2001, when Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling won co-MVPs for the Diamondbacks when they beat the Yankees. So Mariano won it once in '99. Derek Jeter won it in 2000. It's a fun thing to take a look at. Oh, Reggie Jackson won World Series MVP twice. Once in '77 when he had quite possibly the greatest game that any one player has had in the World Series. 4 plate appearances, 1 walk, and in each of the other at-bats, he saw 1 pitch each, which he hit home runs on. So in 3 at-bats, he saw 3 pitches for 3 home runs. For 8 runs batted in for the World Series. The other time he won the World Series MVP was '73. He did that for Oakland in the middle of their three-peat. 1 homer, .310 batting average, 6 runs batted in. They beat the Mets in '73. Yeah, the Mets were actually good back in the day. Not bad, guys. You're terrible now. And you will miss the postseason. All right, so I've run out of stuff to discuss. Tomas is taking his sweet time and conversating with the professor, but he needs to. So we'll be back around next week, and we will have plenty of new material and new stuff to get to discuss. Hopefully, college basketball won't be so corrupt. Maybe Cleveland will actually win a game, and maybe something good will happen in the rest of the football world. Maybe. I don't know. So, for Thomas Villalone Jr., I'm Chris Lynch. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day, everyone.